From the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, welcome to the 2020 Wells Fargo North Carolina Principal of the Year naming ceremony. I'm Sonia Brown, Education Program Director, and I lead the Recognition and Advancement section, which is part of the unit known as District and Regional Support. I am delighted to be your host today. Today's ceremony is very different from past events. Nonetheless, we started the planning process for this ceremony back when these finalists were just competing in their own respective districts. They made it through the process and came out as winners in their respective regions. When we all first met back in February for the state interviews, we had no idea that we would be celebrating this special event in this fashion. But we tried to put together a ceremony that will be memorable and nice for you. So today's ceremony is being live streamed via YouTube so that family, friends, and co-workers can watch you, the finalists, being celebrated today, especially for your outstanding achievements as principals in North Carolina. Our goal today is to not only name the North Carolina Principal of the Year, but to also showcase these 8 school leaders who have transformed schools, improved instructional practices, increased graduation rates, raised school letter grades, and they love teachers and students. So, with the 8 regional finalists running for the title of the 2020 Wells Fargo North Carolina Principal of the Year, please stand and be recognized. Thank you. At this time, I'm delighted to bring up the Director of District and Regional Support, Dr. Cynthia Martin, as she would like to bring you greetings and welcome you to this ceremony.
Good afternoon. It is such a pleasure to be with you to celebrate and recognize great leadership from around our state. As Dr. Brown mentioned, I'm Cynthia Martin, and it is my greatest honor to lead the division that plans and executes this grand event, District and Regional Support. This process started at the local level with 100 principals and has been narrowed down to 8. As Sonia introduced them a few minutes ago, you might have seen that all 8 of them are extraordinary women. There are a host of people who work to make this culminating event possible. First, we have the regional education facilitators and the recognition committee, who are led by Dr. Sonia Brown. They started this process back in June of 2019. Then we have members of the regional selection committees. These are members of previous POY cohorts, along with community education leaders who help select our 8 finalists. Next, we have the state selection team, who has the arduous task of selecting the 2020 Wells Fargo North Carolina Principal of the Year. I would like to thank Ms. Pat Faust, retired Assistant Superintendent for Randolph County Schools, Dr. Rebecca Garland, retired Deputy State Superintendent for the Department of Public Instruction, the Honorable Howard Lee, former NC Senator and former State Board of Education Chairman, and our newest judge this year, Dr. Jeff Cox, former superintendent and current president of Wilkes Community College. I want to thank them for their hard work, time, service, and commitment to the profession and the process. The Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year is a time-honored tradition dating back to 1984. The person bestowed with this distinguished honor feeds into a leadership support system, a legacy, Having the support of principals, past principals of the year like Matthew Bristow Smith, who we will hear from shortly, Tabari Wallace, Jason Griffin, Melody Chalmers, and Dr. Steve Lassiter, just to name a few. COVID has forced us to do things differently. A bright side, which we are all seeking and looking for, is the fact that we are joined today not only by the members who are here, but by so many supporters and well-wishers virtually. Feel free to use our hashtag NCToyPoi throughout the ceremony to tweet out positive messages about this event and our 8 finalists. At this time, please help me in welcoming our State Board of Education Vice Chairman, Mr. Alan Duncan.
Thank you very much. It's my privilege to be here today to bring greetings on behalf of the State Board of Education, Chairman Eric Davis, and my fellow State Board of Education members, all of whom wish they could be here in person. I want to say in particular thank you to Wells Fargo for being the primary sponsor for this great event. And I want to also give Wells Fargo particular thanks for sharing Eric Davis, our chairman, with us, because he is a tremendous contributor to the State Board, and we are grateful to benefit from his skills and expertise. Now, on to our principals. Our principals have extraordinary depth of experience needed for this role. Their commitment has to be enormous, and is, and their expertise and caring for students must run deep. All of these candidates have more than proved that, as have so many of our principals around the state. We are so fortunate in this state to have a wealth of great principals, although we're always ready to have more. But we are so fortunate, and we feel blessed to be able to honor you today and to thank you for the kinds of contributions that you make. Since 1984, North Carolina has named a Principal of the Year as one way to elevate and to celebrate the critical role of our principal leaders in the high caliber women and men, this year women as our finalists, but the high caliber women and men who serve in this important role across the state. Well, how big is this role? Consider just a few of the state board's own goals for ensuring that every student in North Carolina has an opportunity to receive a sound, basic public education. Every student, every day, has excellent educators. That doesn't happen without principal leadership. Every student is healthy, safe, and responsible. Well, think about these times, what a challenge that is for our principals in terms of the responsibilities we are providing to them in terms of taking care of our children socially and emotionally, and as well as their physical well-being. To ensure equity of educational opportunity for all students. If we didn't have knowledge before of the divide that exists with our Leandro vulnerable students and our students who are not as vulnerable as those students, it sure gets brought home in a hurry when we can't even connect with many of our students because they don't have a device or they're not able to get connectivities. And yet our principals have forged ahead to find a way to try to connect with our students. Huge, huge responsibility, great challenges, and out of that I think our principals, because they're optimists, see opportunity. And they're trying to find ways to reach all of our children to try to stop the loss of retention that is taking place and to bring our students forward in the best possible way that we can so that they are prepared at that happy moment when we all get together again and gather around the schoolhouse bell and join together in the classroom with in-person instruction. Nothing will replace it now or ever. But right now we have to do what we can, and our principals are leading the way with a positive attitude. We give you great thanks. Principals do so much of the heavy lifting to meet the goals for our schools and for our students. They shape the culture and set the tone for a school. And if you don't believe that, then just spend some time in a school and you will feel it in an hour. You will feel it right away. They serve as instructional leaders, challenge enough, Change makers, community builders, a huge responsibility to communities is held by principals, and many other roles to make schools successful learning communities for our students. I know I'm speaking on behalf of all of our state board members when I say it has been our honor to work with one of these outstanding school leaders, the 2019 Wells Fargo Principal of the Year, Matthew Bristow Smith. As the board has discussed and debated education policy over the past year, and this has been a challenging year to say the least, Matthew's wisdom, experience, and candor, his insights, have been an invaluable asset to our work. He has been willing to share his experiences and his observations about how state policies work on the ground in his own school in Edgecombe County, in the hallways and classrooms of local schools across North Carolina. He has shared his thoughts about what we might want to think about modifying or adjusting in terms of the present circumstances so that we provide the type of flexibility as permitted to help you do your work effectively. We are grateful to Matthew for the work that he has done and are so glad he will be with us for another year, and we look forward to welcoming one of you to provide that same assistance to us in these challenging times. You will be very much relied upon and appreciated by the state board. So, as we look forward to working with whoever is the next teacher of the year, I want to stop and say this. This is my favorite time of the ceremony because nobody knows who's going to win. And so everybody feels like in the deep recesses, I could be the winner today. And that's a great feeling that you deserve. At the end of the day, I want you to keep that great feeling you have right now because you are absolutely a winner. The cohort that you have formed will do fabulous things. We appreciate every one of you for what you're doing, and you are all complete winners today, regardless of whatever announcements we make hereafter. Congratulations to each and every one of you. Your schools, your teachers, and your students are very lucky to have you as leaders. You truly exemplify the very best of the state of North Carolina. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Dr. Martin and Mr. Duncan. There are so many well-wishers that wanted to be here today. They have sent their support in so many ways. So next on our program, you will hear from Roy Cooper, the Governor of North Carolina, and Dan Forrest, the Lieutenant Governor of North Carolina. And each year, they provide messages of inspiration to our finalists, so please watch these special videos.
Hi everybody, Roy Cooper here. Congratulations to all of our principals who've been chosen to compete for the Wells Fargo Principals of the Year. What an honor it is to be recognized for your hard work and represent the 2,500 principals from across North Carolina. As they declare a new winner today, I want to take a moment to recognize our 2019 Principal of the Year, Matthew Bristow Smith. Thank you for your service and your extraordinary dedication to the students and families in Edgecombe County and our entire state. Principals play such a critical role in our schools. You create the culture and set the tone to help schools become the exceptional places of learning we all know they can be. And as we face this pandemic, you've done all of this while making tough decisions for the health of your students and staff. Thank you for leading our schools through this unprecedented time, and congratulations to the 2020 Principal of the Year. Thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Lieutenant Governor Dan Forrest. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak to you today. This past school year was as unique as they come, and I want to thank you for all the work you did to provide support to your teachers and administrations as you shifted into remote learning the last few months. All of our candidates for the 2020 Wells Fargo Principal of the Year have proven themselves as the very best North Carolina has to offer. Tirelessly planning, leading as school innovators, serving as role models to our students, our teachers, and our communities, and stepping up to answer the call to serve whenever asked. They've led school fundraisers, worked hand in hand with the PTA, trained a new generation of outstanding teachers, and forged incredible bonds with the students and colleagues. To each of the candidates, we thank you for your contributions to educating our youth and leading our schools. Your presence here shows the impact you have had has been noticed by others. To the person that will be the 2020 North Carolina Principal of the Year, congratulations to you on this outstanding achievement. This award alone, however, cannot express how appreciative we are of the wonderful work that you do. My sincere thanks goes to Wells Fargo and all of our sponsors who have made today possible. God bless each of you and enjoy this event.
For these special messages today for our finalists. Highlighting Mr. Tayshaun Patterson, 2020 District Principal of the Year from Halifax County Schools. His role, Principal, Enfield Middle Science, Technology, Engineering, Arts, Mathematics, better known as STEAM Academy in Enfield. His education, Master of School Administration, North Carolina State College of Education, Bachelor of Arts in Music, North Carolina Central University. His advice to aspiring educators, and I quote, "Remember, there is a child in all of us. Never forget your childhood while standing in front of your students. Always keep a child's face in your heart and mind when constructing lesson plans and making decisions. The lessons are always about them, but they will always teach you something as well." Why he chose education? He said, "I wanted to make a difference in the lives of students in rural communities. Educators seems to have the greatest impact on the lives of children." Mr. Patterson died last month from complications related to COVID-19. Ms. Carolyn Mitchell, a colleague of Mr. Patterson, is here to share some highlights of her experience working with such a remarkable gentleman. Ms. Mitchell.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am elated to stand before you this afternoon on behalf of an amazing educator, mentor, coach, principal leader, and friend, Mr. Tayshaun Patterson. Mr. Patterson and I worked together for 5 years at Enfield Middle STEAM Academy. I first worked as his instructional coach for 3 years and then as his assistant principal for 2 years. We met each morning to discuss our plans for the day, as well as to make any necessary decisions. When we exited his office to meet the challenges of the day, we met them as a united front. We both believe in the concept of teamwork. Mr. Patterson and I shared many professional and personal highs and lows, and we celebrated and encouraged each other through them all. After leaving Enfield Middle to take on the principalship at Pittman Elementary Leadership Academy, Mr. Patterson became my principal coach. Now, no matter how early or how late I called Mr. Patterson, his response was immediate. He prided himself on being reliable, and that he was. His motto was, "I am here to serve." Mr. Patterson was a principal who loved children and humbly served them for 28 years. As the leader of Enfield Middle STEAM Academy, he worked tirelessly to create and maintain a culture and climate that prioritized the needs of his students. It was not only important that he met the academic needs of his students, but also the physical, social, and emotional needs. Mr. Patterson knew the importance of building relationships with his students and his staff. He met with them to listen to them and have meaningful conversations. He listened for their likes and dislikes, their strengths and their weaknesses, in order to determine how he can help them in moving forward. He understood and quoted the words of Theodore Roosevelt: "People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care." There was no doubt in the minds of the students at Enfield Middle STEAM Academy that Mr. Patterson did indeed care. Mr. Patterson ensured that his students had a safe place to spend their time on weekends and often opened the school building on Saturdays and Sundays. This did allow the students to come into the gym to play basketball. Many times, he maximized the opportunity to teach and tutor the students in areas that they were struggling in academically. There were times when students would come to his office repeatedly for misbehavior. The teachers would ask, when is he going to send that student home? However, in Mr. Patterson's mind, he felt that he could manage the behavior and keep the student in the building where he knew that they would be safe. For Mr. Patterson, the benefits of keeping the children in school far outweighed sending them home. Although children were so very important to him, his staff, parents, and community members were also important to Mr. Patterson. His door was always open to everyone because he knew the importance of meeting the needs of all stakeholders. He understood that they too were essential to the success of his school. Mr. Patterson was about the business of school at all times. He addressed his staff as Sir, Madam, Ma'am, and Mr. and Miss. He used these titles as a matter of demonstrating professionalism, even with his closest colleagues. Mr. Patterson also always referred to his school as the shining star in the District of Halifax County Schools. He did not necessarily want to shine, but he wanted his staff and his students to shine. He challenged his students academically by offering English 1 as an option for 8th grade students, and the students participated in regional competitions such as Day of Knowledge and Math Counts. He incentivized principal-list students with limousine rides, and he allowed them to eat at some of the finer restaurants in the area. For his staff, he would have meals cooked and served on the spot, hot off the grill. He would recognize the students and staff for minor and major accomplishments. He took advantage of every opportunity to celebrate people and to highlight the best in them. Mr. Patterson fully understood that it was necessary to educate and develop the whole child, and he went to great lengths to make this happen. His dedicated service to Enfield Middle STEAM Academy ultimately impacted the students in a very positive way. Under his leadership, the school grew 24.8 percentage points over the 6 years that he served as principal. It was incremental, yet steady growth. Mr. Patterson knew that the children that he served faced some of the same challenges that he faced growing up, and his mission was to make every effort to provide support that would help alleviate as many of these challenges as possible. The students recognized his passion and dedication, and because of it, they loved and respected Mr. Patterson. He spent time researching and studying ways to help grow in his teachers as well as his students. He motivated and supported them in every possible way. We all know that in order to become a principal, you must have a certain level of education and certain degrees, all of which Mr. Patterson possessed. However, to be a great principal, it requires just a little bit more. It requires you to release from within. Mr. Patterson released love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. And he was consistent in demonstrating these qualities because this is who he was. These qualities allowed him to do the job that he was chosen to do even more effectively. We are proud that Mr. Patterson was selected as the Halifax County Principal of the Year, and for those who knew him, you would easily say that he could have also proudly represented the state of North Carolina as Principal of the Year. In the words of Tom Landry, leadership is a matter of having people look at you and gain confidence. If you're in control, they're in control. Mr. Patterson was well in control, and he was a leader who undoubtedly helped many students and teachers alike gain control and confidence in themselves. Enfield Middle was a better school because of Mr. Tayshaun Patterson's leadership. Fellow principals, we too must lead our schools so that we can be assured that it is better because we lead. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Carolyn Mitchell. Ms. Mitchell is a principal at Pittman Elementary School in Halifax County, and we thank you for that moment honoring Mr. Tayshaun Patterson. Thank you. This day would not be possible without our sponsors. Their support to our program is invaluable. So at this time, I would like to invite our Wells Fargo sponsor representative, Mr. John Ward, to the podium to share more about this sponsorship. Our other sponsors, Education First, No Kid Hungry, Hampton Inn, and Jostens could not be here with us today. Also, Mr. Alessandro Montanari, who is also a member of the Principal of the Year Committee, will share information about their programs.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here on behalf of Wells Fargo to celebrate the dynamic leadership and dedicated demonstrated by these impressive school leaders. Congratulations to each of the regional honorees for your accomplishments, and thank you for what you do every day to lead your students, teachers, and school communities to excellence. Your presence here today is a reflection of your commitment and the relentless drive to positively impact the lives of students. The selection team undoubtedly had an extremely difficult task in determining which candidates would receive the top honor this afternoon. Since 1984, our company has supported this program financially and with volunteers in collaboration with the Department of Public Instruction to recognize outstanding principals from the North Carolina public school system. In the past 36 years, we have recognized 40 state Wells Fargo Principal of the Year and 264 regional award recipients, each one very deserving of the honor. In North Carolina, we have more than 36,500 team members, and many of them have children in our public schools. At Wells Fargo, we share the belief that an education is the most important investment in our country's future we can make. We know the returns on an investment in a great education exceed the best mutual funds. That's why our foundation has designated education as one of its primary focus areas. In 2019, Wells Fargo's community investments included millions of dollars to thousands of educational programs and schools around the U.S. In North Carolina, we invested more than $24 million in philanthropic giving to more than 981 local nonprofits and schools. Additionally, our North Carolina team members logged more than 230 hours volunteering. I want you to know that we care about education, and we are committed to helping you make a difference in North Carolina. Thank you again for what you do for our children and young adults. We recognize what an enormous job you have and the tireless dedication it takes. Let me say, in closing, congratulations again to all of you, and you are all appreciated for what you are doing to improve the lives of our students across North Carolina. Please join me for a round of applause for these outstanding administrators and what they do to make our public school successful.
Good afternoon. A special thank you to Wells Fargo for being our flagship sponsor. Big round of applause, please. They not only help us in celebrating this extraordinary event, but they also enable us to deliver a token of appreciation to all 100 district POYs named this year. They've asked me, unfortunately, a couple of sponsors could not be here with us today, so they've asked me to actually read a couple paragraphs from each of them. Education First. Education First is proud to have a long-standing relationship with the Wells Fargo Principal of the Year Award. It is a relationship built on valuing the fantastic educators and administrators across the state of North Carolina. EF's mission is to open the world through education. To that end, Education First is pleased to award the 2020 Principal of the Year a trip to the Global Education Symposium in Boston in 2021 for the POY and a guest or 2 teachers of his or her choosing. This event is hosted at the North American headquarters of Education First in Boston, Massachusetts, where like-minded educators will gather to explore topics such as STEM, sustainability, and others through a global lens, and will feature educators from around the world. The prize includes flights, accommodations, meals, conference registration, and a chance to experience Boston. Applause for Education First. Speaking of travel, Hampton Inn is a big part of the Principal of the Year. It is highly likely that you will be invited to an event or celebration and needing a place to stay as a Principal of the Year. Definitely get ready to travel as Principal of the Year. The Hampton Inn and Suites, located near UNC Chapel Hill, is in the beautiful downtown Chapel Hill Carborough area, has kindly donated to our program a complimentary 2-night stay in one of their suites. Please, an applause for Hampton Inn. Jostens. Most of us know Jostens as the ring people, but they do more than make rings. They make memories too. Their story is told by the story of others. Today they celebrate the principal and all that role means in connecting students with their future by commemorating the event with a ring inscribed with the 2020 POY's information. Lastly, the North Carolina Principal of the Year and another finalist will compete nationally, representing the high school level as the North Carolina Secondary Principal of the Year, and also representing the elementary and middle school level as the NAESP Distinguished Principal of the Year through the North Carolina Association of School Administrators Professional Organization. Big hand for Jostens. No Kid Hungry, North Carolina. No Kid Hungry, North Carolina campaign, an initiative of the national nonprofit Share Our Strength, works with the Department of Public Instruction, local school systems, and community partners to increase access to federally assisted meals for children. Since schools closed in March due to COVID-19, No Kid Hungry has been extremely busy to support the many ways that kids have been getting meals thanks to the dedication of hundreds of school nutrition staff across the state. No Kid Hungry team is honored to celebrate this year's group of outstanding principals. We know that for many children, the meals they get at school are their primary source of nutrition. We applaud all principals for contributing to the incredible work that schools have done this year to continue feeding our children, and for making it a priority during the coming school year that no matter what challenges are presented, this will continue to happen. I am pleased to announce that our sponsor, No Kid Hungry North Carolina, is awarding to all 8 regional principals here in front of us large screen smart TVs for your schools. We encourage you to use this resource as a communications tool to teach students about nutrition and to encourage them to eat healthy meals at school every day. Last but not least, No Kid Hungry is also awarding all regional winners gift cards from Amazon for $100 each to be used however you like. Please know that this is their way to say thank you for all that you do for children of the state of North Carolina. I must also acknowledge, of course, the State Board of Education and our great state superintendent and the entire Department of Public Instruction for their financial support and in-kind contributions to this event. Thank you again to all our sponsors. Definitely a big thank you to Wells Fargo. We appreciate all your partnerships. We could not make this event as memorable as it is without all of your support.
Thank you, Mr. Ward and Mr. Montanari, and to all of our sponsors. We appreciate your partnership. We could not, of course, make this event as memorable as it is without your continued support, so thank you. So now, it is a great pleasure for me to introduce to you the 2019 Wells Fargo North Carolina Principal of the Year, Matthew Bristow Smith. Matthew is the principal of Edgecombe Early College High in Edgecombe County Public Schools. As a principal of Edgecombe Early College High School, he led the application-based school to multiple consecutive years of high performance. Under his leadership, the school earned an A grade in school performance measures and exceeded its growth target. Mr. Smith said, "Our scholars discover themselves at the early college, and when they leave, our graduates tackle the world with a greater sense of self." We want to hear more, so ladies and gentlemen, please stand and help me welcome to the podium our current Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year, Matthew Bristow Smith.
Thank you, Dr. Brown. And thank you, everyone. Thank you to Wells Fargo and the state of North Carolina for allowing me this great opportunity to be a voice for North Carolina educators and an advisor to so many organizations doing incredible work in our state to ensure that every child, each and every child, has access to a sound basic education. I've had the good fortune to spend time with Juan Austin and Susie Kuntz from Wells Fargo. I'm so grateful for Wells Fargo's 37 years of support of this program. I want to also express my gratitude to our friends at No Kid Hungry for their amazing support of our Regional Principals of the Year from 2019. They not only sponsor the program, but they also remind us that we must actually feed kids, as in like feed their stomachs before we can feed their minds. And so thank you to No Kid Hungry, and thank you to all of our sponsors. And I also want to express my deep appreciation to the Department of Public Instruction and Superintendent Johnson for their long-standing support of the Principal of the Year program and the in-kind support that Alessandra made reference to earlier. So grateful for that, so thank you. I have so much gratitude to North Carolina educators, and to count myself among their ranks is really quite an honor. I've always thought that being Teacher of the Year or being Principal of the Year is really not about being the best. It means we represent the best. It means we lift up the best. It means we are a voice for the best. As your 2019 Wells Fargo Principal of the Year, it has been my great honor to represent the best. And by that I mean our North Carolina educators. Before I get too deep into my remarks, there is something I need to get off my chest. It involves one person in particular, someone who you probably know I'm going to make reference to, someone who preceded me in this role, someone whose personality is as big as his heart, and that's my brother, Tabari Wallace. Now honestly, everywhere I've gone this year, I've been introduced as the guy who came after Tabari Wallace. When people joined my Principal of the Year PD sessions, they thought Tabari was giving them because he was the Principal of the Year. And they were kind, and they didn't hold it against me that I wasn't Tabari. And to our next Principal of the Year, you're going to have to deal with this Tabari issue. But to be associated with the likes of Tabari Wallace, that's amazing company to keep as an educator. And I know Tabari is watching our live stream today. He and I were texting this morning. And I want you to know, Tabari, how much your example has meant to me and to every principal across the state. And to our passionate Teachers of the Year, Freebird McKinney and Mariah Morris and Maureen Stover, so many before, all of you guys working together to shine a light on our amazing educators and to advocate for equity at every single level. You guys are such an inspiration, and you mean so much to me, not just professionally, but also personally. Patrick Miller our 2019 North Carolina Superintendent of the Year, and Anthony Jackson, our 2020 Superintendent of the Year. These are living, breathing champions of public education whose leadership is grounded in what's best for children. When I became Principal of the Year, I did not know that I would gain so many new brothers and sisters in this work. And there are so many more allies and partners and kindred spirits that I have been graced to meet and work with this year. And to all of you, thank you for allowing my voice and my hands and my heart to join yours in this important work that we do. In the world of North Carolina public education, this has been an incredible year. I mean, the stars are lining up for North Carolina to take our next big steps forward in public education. I couldn't be more excited about my future NC under the leadership of Cecilia Holden and her team. Talk about aligning our arrows. 2 million credentialed workers by 2030. We'll get there, and we'll get there together. And our State Board of Education is taking bold steps towards an equity resolution and a framework for action to ensure that we are doing the right work the right way. The board is leaning hard into this work because no child in our state should ever have to fight for equity. Speaking of the state board, how powerful is it that our new legislative director, Mr. Freebird McKinney, was an accomplished educator and our 2018 Teacher of the Year. Imagine how that will shape policy to have an educator's intuition guiding that work. And our very own state board member, James Ford, our 2014 Teacher of the Year and founder of CREED, the Center for Racial Equity in Education, has authored an equity audit of our North Carolina public schools called Erasing Inequities, to hold us accountable for this work and to nudge us to walk the walk in the spirit of esse quam videre, to be rather than to seem. And wow, the West Ed report has given us a nonpartisan call to action and a roadmap of how to level the playing field for all scholars in North Carolina public schools, no matter what zip code they live in. The Public School Forum has identified implementing the West Ed recommendations as the single most important challenge facing North Carolina public schools this year. And if you really want to know what we're made of, there's the pandemic and the incredible bipartisan efforts led by Governor Cooper, Chair Davis, Superintendent Johnson, and so many others working across agencies and sectors to make sure that we rise to that challenge, working together for the common good. This year has reminded me of our national motto, E pluribus unum, out of many, one. So many vested stakeholders working on behalf of our North Carolina public school children, our State Department of Public Instruction, our state legislature, nonprofits like Best NC, professional organizations like NC Papa, educator prep programs like the Teaching Fellows or the Northeast Leadership Academy, ed-focused journalism like Education North Carolina, Tar Heel Teachers at Home, so many others, too many to catalog, all working to align our arrows to move our state forward to benefit children. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. We have 1.6 million public school children in North Carolina. And as a point of privilege, I want to introduce one of them to you today. Some of you may remember my school son, Abdur Gant, who attended our Principal of the Year ceremony with me last year, along with my wife and daughters and several of my colleagues from Edgecombe County, including our wonderful superintendent, Dr. Valerie Bridges. Abdur will be graduating this year from the high school that I lead, Edgecombe Early College High School. We have 130 early colleges or cooperative innovative high schools in the state of North Carolina. They are hubs of innovation and equity designed to create post-secondary pathways for our scholars from all backgrounds, especially our first-generation scholars. Since Abdur was here with me last year, listen to these updates. He has completed a full slate of high school and college classes and has now completed his high school graduation requirements. Abdur's completed his OSHA 10 certification, his OSHA 30 certification. He's completed a 30-hour course on installing solar panels. And in 9 months, he'll graduate from us with his high school diploma and his Associate of Science degree, and he's 18 years old today. Abdur will be headed next fall, this time next year, to North Carolina A&T, right, Cynthia Martin? And he has a bright future ahead of him, and for that, Abdur, you are such an inspiration to all of us. None of us in education do this work for ourselves. Abdur is my reminder of the incredible potential and the incredible power of every single young person in our schools that's just waiting to be unharnessed. That's what we're all in this work for. Every single scholar matters, and it's going to take all of us to guarantee the right to the privilege of a sound basic education for each and every child in our state. Right, Abdur? Out of many, what? One. Out of many, one. Right. It has been my great privilege to serve as your 2019 Wells Fargo North Carolina Principal of the Year. And congratulations to each of our regional principals here today and to our 2020 Principal of the Year, whom we will all meet in just a few moments. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt, for your representation of all principals in North Carolina. Next up is Superintendent Mark Johnson, who has consistently highlighted the crucial role that principals play in our public schools, and he fully supports the Principal of the Year program. After the superintendent's remarks, the next voice you'll hear is that of Dr. Beverly Emery, Deputy Superintendent of District Support, as she sends messages or greetings via a video message to the finalists for this event, both on behalf of the Department of Public Instruction. The 8 finalists will be announced via video presentation. After the video presentation, Dr. Martin and Superintendent Johnson will present a certificate to each of our finalists. The final task for the day will be handed over to Mr. Michael Golden, Executive Vice President, Wells Fargo Triangle Bank, who will announce the 2020 Wells Fargo Principal of the Year.
Thank you, everyone, for being here, and again, thank you to our sponsors. This would not be possible without you, and it is so important to raise up these amazing leaders. Congratulations, Principal Bristow Smith. I know it's been a tough act to follow, Principal Wallace, but you now get to say that you were a tough act to follow today, because I am not wanting to have to follow that amazing speech. Thank you, and thank you for your service. I'm going to steal your line and just thank every single one of you and acknowledge that today is not about picking the best. Today is about representing the best. And I always like to focus on, we're not naming a winner. We are naming the Principal of the Year, and each and every one of you deserve that title. Truly. It almost sounds so repetitive that we talk about the tone and culture of a school, but it is so true that you can go into any one of your schools and know that it has an amazing leader. Know that you are inspiring teachers. You are empowering students. And that is what drives results. And at the same time, after you juggle that massive undertaking, you go back to your office and you've got 5 phone calls about late buses. You got to call somebody because the grass wasn't cut. And you open up your inbox and you've got 100 angry emails from parents. Somehow, each and every one of you manage to juggle that and drive results for your educators and your students, and each and every one of your communities are lucky to have you. And that was before 2020. The challenges that this year has brought for not just you and your schools, but for our state and our nation, as Principal Bristow Smith alluded, this is a turning point not just for your schools, not just for our state, but for our entire nation. Starting with a pandemic that turned everything upside down overnight, that forced you to figure out how are you going to keep your students progressing. And then I know, even if you're remote right now, over the summers, you were in your schools trying to figure out which direction a hallway traffic would flow, measuring the distance between desks. And then the challenges that came this summer. Acknowledging for all of us what we already knew deep down, that schools are going to have to play a huge part in fixing the societal ills that are still plaguing us. You lead all that. And words cannot express how grateful your communities and your state are for your leadership. Over the summer, I kind of shook my head to myself and I said, this is quite a year for leadership. What else can 2020 throw at North Carolina? And then the next week, we got hit with an earthquake and a hurricane in the same week, so I stopped asking that question. I am optimistic because of you, because of your leadership, because of your drive to do what's right for your teachers and your students in the face of all the challenges that you had to overcome even before we faced a once-in-a-100-year pandemic. You were there for your students. And so I agree. You all represent the best. There's a selection panel, and they had to make the tough choice just to pick one name, but each and every one of you deserves that. Many of your peers deserve that. And thank you. Thank you so much for everything you do every day for your schools. Thank you.
Greetings. I'm so grateful to be able to tune in with you today for this very important celebration. I hope you'll indulge me just a few minutes. Several years ago, I was blessed with a donor who allowed me to do some very specific research around particular topics and school districts across the country that had excelled. Broad was the researcher, and we were able to do work on gap closing, early literacy, teacher retention, and recruitment. And what really happened with those studies was a look at the 10 urban districts across the country who were making progress in all those areas and what strategies they were employing. And at the top of every single one of those pieces of research was a solid leader of a school, that being you, the school principal. So it's with great pleasure that I congratulate all of you who are there today and the great work that you represent across the entire state of North Carolina. I'm so proud to work and serve with you, and I'm incredibly grateful for the amazing work that you do every day leading schools in North Carolina.
I absolutely love going to work every day. School is my joy, and in each school that I have served, I have shared with them something that a principal shared with me a long time ago, and he told us that we should be able to look in the mirror every morning and say, oh boy, I'm going to school today. Just remember, be the awesome you. First of all, our core business is teaching and learning, and that needs to be the focus of our work day in and day out. And any time that we have to make a decision, we always need to think about what's best for students. And that's one of the hardest things to do, because adults tend to want to make the decision based on what's best for them. It's important to be visible. For me, you will actually find me at my office that's on a cart throughout the building, and that is when I'm conducting walkthroughs. I might be coaching a teacher, I might be formally observing them, supporting a student. Can a jet fly fast? Yes. Yeah. Every child should graduate from high school and graduate on time, and with that, that they are college and career ready, that they could go and do anything that they want to do from public education, that they have gained the skill set that they need in order to make that happen.
What drew me to education is that I love learning, and I love sharing what I've learned. The school system is the perfect platform for that. What I found a lot of benefit in is being able to work with teachers because I love teaching. He got his what stuck in the tree? Kite. A kite. You see the red kite? Stuck in the tree. I hate it when that happens. Sharing what I've learned, some of the best practices, and then of course learning from teachers. We do a lot of professional development, and with that professional development, from time to time I lead, but mostly my teachers lead because I believe they learn best from their peers. You're giving staff the opportunity to use their skills and that you're helping to grow that skill set. I believe that the teacher's job in the educational environment is not just to deliver instruction, but to also form a relationship with every student and to be fully supported by that school administration.
Every kid needs a champion, and every kid needs to be made visible in the walls of our school. We want to understand more about the young person sitting in front of us in terms of interest, and so if we have a reluctant reader, just as an example, then knowing what their interest is as we differentiate helps them overcome the challenge perhaps of being a reluctant reader and engage in the task. Long division model. Good. Okay, cool. Do you like division? Perseverance, girl, what are we going to talk about? Part of the personalized learning is feeling like you're a part of something, feeling like you're part of the community, and that the people here care about you and want you to be successful. Leadership is not about position, it's about how you serve. And as soon as you let your ego get in the way, then you will not be the leader you'll be proud of. Yeah, I'm called to serve. I'm one of all. I don't look at myself as any better than anybody else because of a title. It's not about the title for me. It's about what I'm called to do in this role to serve the people that I have the opportunity to work with every day.
You lead from the essence of who you are as a person. I love that quote because I believe it makes you who you are. Your experiences makes you who you are. Leadership is all about relationships. Relationships matter. In my first year, I was all about getting it done, and I thought I could do it by myself. And I learned very quickly that the people in the building make a difference. The relationships you build with your teachers, with your parents, it makes a difference in the way your building operates. And so leadership matters. Being visible in your building, allowing your teacher leaders to have a voice in the building is very, very important. I knew early on that I wanted to be a teacher. I love making a difference for others. When I look at my students in this building, I see myself. I too grew up in a single parent home. And when I look around my building, I think to myself, this is me. And I want to make a difference for those students. Students are not defined by their zip code or where they come from. All students can learn. It's up to us as educators, teachers, administrators, all stakeholders to make a difference for the students in our buildings.
My philosophy of education is that we are here to educate the whole child. Every part of them matters. Every minute that they are with us matters. Our mission at Southwood Elementary is helping students succeed, no exceptions, no excuses, and we live that and breathe that every single day for our kids. Wanted to lead some district teams and decided to pursue administration because I wanted to be able to impact more children positively on a regular basis. What about SHIP? Because that one's a little harder. Did you know it right away? You did? Good job. All right, you guys keep working hard, okay? I truly feel you have to be a coach. You have to coach your team. You have to build your team before you can coach it, and then you have to continue to motivate it and be an important part of that team. We work with our staff and our teacher leaders to see what resources are the best, what has been vetted, what is research-based, so that we can use those to best meet the individual needs of our students. It's a constant process of evaluating, is it working for each child? How is it going? Are they moving at the right pace? Are we seeing the growth that we need? If you come into a building where it's all new teachers that are just trying to find their way, you cultivate that leadership and find out who has those leadership skills to want to do more. If you can find them, they'll be your biggest cheerleaders and will cultivate your vision very far.
My passion is working with children and empowering teachers and families and children to be their very best. The power that educators really have when it comes to believing in what people can do and believing in students and teaching them how to persevere and accomplish their goals.
Bar hurts.
Nice job, James. You did it. It was a math teacher that sort of drew me into education, and I wanted to be able to create that same experience of learning how to persevere for students. Very well deserved. I'm so proud of my teachers for advocating for kids when they see a need or when they see something that can be done or when they see something that's just not quite right. They kind of say, I think we can do something about that. I am that somebody. I can do something about that. Hi, I'm good. How are you? You can't teach children when they're not at school, and so we've really built that as a part of our school community, that attendance matters, attendance is important, and we work with our families to help mitigate any barriers that they might face when it comes to getting their children here to school and really working with them so we can accomplish that.
I am a teacher at heart. I was born in a family of educators who instilled in me a passion and a love for education.
Very good. You guys are so smart. Keep working hard.
We must believe in our hearts and our minds that all students matter and all students are destined for greatness.
Divide and conquer. All right, very cool.
It is our moral imperative to provide a high-quality education for all students. It's not just to satisfy students, their personal interests and goals, but to serve the common good of the community. We must transform our schools into a personalized learning environment where students take ownership of their learning, where learning is engaging and relevant beyond the classroom.
And doing exercises, and then we're going to record what it is, record the exercise on here.
We must engage our parents as collaborative partners in education.
They send a letter home to parents before they even started it to get feedback on who has access, who doesn't.
Greatness exists in each and every one of us. It is our responsibility to not only discover that greatness in ourselves, but to inspire greatness in others.
We focus on 2 words every day, and that's new or better. Much more comfortable. We are a school designed from the ground up to give a very individualized experience. We'll count for American history too, and then you'll have civics with Ms. Kirby on the high school side. Here, that looks very different, very innovative, small classes, a lot of technology, caring teachers. We come here every day and we have fun, and I think that's how learning should be. Our students get a high school diploma as well as an associate's degree in either arts, science, or engineering.
That I was going to go AA because it just made more sense.
Okay. I think relationships were the most important part of schools 50 years ago, and I think 50 years from now, relationships will still be the most important part. And that really inspires me that our faculty focuses on knowing our student, and in return, we have seen very positive gains from that. Kindness matters, and not only being a good student, but also a good person. We trust big, and I think that has led to big success. Not only academically, but just culturally.
It is my belief that we all have special gifts and talents and serve a purpose beyond ourselves.
I believe that education is the most important springboard in a student's life.
I believe that maintaining high staff morale and building relationships should take priority in my daily work.
Every kid needs a champion, and every kid needs to be made visible in the walls of our school.
I believe leadership matters. The leader in the building sets the tone.
I believe that every child should graduate from high school and graduate on time.
I believe education sets the trajectory for what will happen in a student's life.
I believe that public education is the place to think creatively and critically so that they can build, design, and transform their lives and world into what they want it to be.
I would like to thank our 8 finalists for allowing us to come into their schools, talk to their kids, talk to their staff, and really get to see them in their element. That video truly demonstrated the passion that you all not only have for kids and teachers, but for our profession. So thank you. Superintendent Johnson, if you would take your mark, we are going to, on your X, we are going to recognize each finalist and invite you up to obtain your certificate and take a picture with our state superintendent. So first, I'll start with Ms. Sheila Evans. She represents She represents the Northeast. She is the Northeast Region Principal of the Year from White Oak Elementary and Edenton-Shawan School System. Next, we have Miss Deborah Huffman. She is the Southeast Region Principal of the Year from Jacksonville Commons Elementary in Onslow County. Deborah, please come forward. Next, we have Dr. Ruth Steidinger, for our North Central Region Principal of the Year from Olive Chapel Elementary in Wake County. Ruth, please come forward. Next, we have Alfred Jean Hammond, who is our Sand Hills Region Principal of the Year from Upchurch Elementary in Hope County. Alfred Jean, please come forward. Next, we have Miss Ashley Craven Limley, who represents the Piedmont Triad as the Piedmont Triad Region Principal of the Year from Southwood Elementary in Davidson County. Next, we have Dr. Jennifer Brinson, our Southwest Region Principal of the Year from Wolf Meadow Elementary in Cabarrus County. Jennifer? Next, we have Miss Keisha Clemens, the Northwest Region Principal of the Year from Shuford Elementary in the Newton Conover City School System. Keisha? Last but certainly not least, we have Miss Lori Fox, our Western Region Principal of the Year from Haywood Early College in Haywood County. Lori, please come forward. At this time, I would like to congratulate all of the finalists, and not to delay the moment that we have all been waiting for. Mr. Michael Golden, who is the Executive Vice President of the Triangle Region for Wells Fargo, please come forward and be ready to present to us the 41st Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year.
Thank you, Dr. Martin, and it is a delight to be with you here today. You know, as John shared, my partner, I'm proud to work for a company that invests in the communities where we live. I restate a statistic that he shared. Last year, our company invested over $24 million in the work across this great state for different philanthropic organizations and schools. But I have to say, none is more exciting to attend than this event. I grew up in North Carolina and left the state 20 years ago in various other states working for our company. So when I returned 3 years ago, I was told about this great award and the opportunity to come and participate in this ceremony. And I have to tell you, this is the favorite thing that I attend throughout the year, because I stand here today a product of the public school system of North Carolina. I wouldn't be here today had I not had the education that I did in Wilkes County in western North Carolina. And so I've never forgotten those roots as I have lived in great places like Atlanta, Georgia, or Washington, D.C. I am a Wilkes County boy, and I never forget that. So, it's been my privilege again for 3 years as regional president to stop and honor the education of our communities. Having a daughter who graduated with an undergrad degree in special ed and a master's in early childhood, she started her teaching journey last year. So you can imagine her first year of teaching dealing with the COVID-19 crisis. So she still lives at home with her mother and I, and so our company, John and myself, those in administration roles, have been homebound now for almost 6 months. So for 6 months, I have listened to my daughter up in her room upstairs, and I've been in my office downstairs, conduct her class of first graders. And the challenges that has been created there. And I think about the role of the relationship she has with her principal. Her principal for her first job, her first exciting opportunity. She was a child who had special needs herself. She dealt with an anxiety disorder when she was 10 years old and had to leave the public school system and went to a charter school and a private school before returning. So we experienced firsthand some of the challenges of a child with special needs. But for her to rise up and to major in that and then to get her master's degree and then start this teaching journey, her principals played a vital role. And so I think about all of you today. Not only there's a lot of discussion about the role you lead with your students and the role you lead with your parents, but I think about being, again, a parent of a first-year school teacher, the role you lead as a counselor for your teachers and how important that role has been in this last year. So I won't delay any longer. I do want to congratulate all of you as finalists in the role you played in shaping the minds that shapes our future. So let's hear a little something about this year's recipient. First of all, this person believes that school climate begins with building relationships. They believe that fostering an atmosphere of trust and mutual respect is one of the most important tenets of effective school leadership. They treat parents as vested partners by allowing them to have a voice in the decision-making of the school. They believe that the best advice for principals is to know the why and to have a clear common message amongst his or her team. This person notes that one of the most exciting innovations of her school is the partnership with K64 Consortium and support of schools focused on personalized learning that address social economic learning. Her school was selected as one of 2 schools in North Carolina to receive the National Title I Distinguished School Award for high student growth. So today, as the scholars of Shuford Elementary School and Newton Conover City Schools are inspired by the fact that their principal, Ms. Keisha Clemens, is the 2020 Wells Fargo, North Carolina Principal of the Year. Please welcome. Congratulations.
Oh, wow. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It is a great honor that I accept this prestigious recognition. Many thanks are in order to a myriad of people who have made today possible. First of all, I'm giving all the praise and honor to my Heavenly Father. Without Him, I could do nothing. Thank you to Wells Fargo Foundation for continuing to celebrate outstanding principals for 37 years, and also all of the sponsors of this event. Thank you to North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, State Board of Education, Superintendent Johnson, Dr. Sonia Brown and her team for organizing this event. And a shout out to all of the regional principals of the year. Just amazing, brilliant women, and I'm so excited to be working with you this year. A special thanks to my family, my mom, dad, sisters, niece, and nephew, for their unwavering support for my passion for education and always teaching me to be the best that I possibly can be in everything I do. And without their love and support, today would also not be possible. To my Newton Conover family, Board of Education, Dr. Aaron Gabriel, Dr. Heather Mullins, Ms. Tammy Brown, Dr. Stegall, thank you so much for your confidence in my leadership and your support. To my amazing mentor, Dr. Wilkerson, who challenges my thinking and helps me grow as a principal and always serves as a thought partner. But today I accept this award on behalf of my Shuford Owls, my students, teachers and staff, and families who inspire me each and every day. I've been so blessed to lead such a wonderful community who have walked with me hand in hand to create a vision of equity and excellence. As I reflect about today and what it symbolizes and anticipate the work that is ahead of us, I'm reminded of two words: greatness and courage. These two words go hand in hand. First, greatness. There are extraordinary things happening all across our state. We have to continue to celebrate, highlight, and share the greatness that we see each and every day. And as I think about opportunities for change, it will require us to be courageous leaders. We just can't talk about it. We have to be about the change. In the words of John Lewis, never ever be afraid to make some good noise and get in good trouble, necessary trouble. Our language, our actions, our decisions must reflect a commitment to all students. And when I say all, I truly mean all. As I close, I want to leave you with just a few words. Remember that greatness has no limits, and we must exhibit courage in our journey to greatness. Thank you so much for this amazing award, and I'm excited to leave and serve you all. Thank you.
Wow, congratulations. We look forward to supporting you during your year representing North Carolina principals. Let's give her another hand. Well, it has been my honor to host and organize this year's ceremony. The success of today was made possible by many, many, many dedicated individuals. Thanks to the families and support systems for all of our finalists. The adventure of the 2020 POY Committee, Regional Education Facilitators, fondly known as REFs, we thank you. Tina Starr, the project lead. Thank you to our panel of judges who had to make the difficult decision. And to the Communications and Graphics Department at DPI. Thank you for the DPI leadership as well. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you again next year.
Congratulations, everyone. Now it's like a wedding. It's where we take all the pictures. But we learned this from the Teacher of the Year ceremony. If you'd like to go inside and get some air conditioning and freshen up before pictures, we can take maybe 5 to 10 minutes to do that. And then we'll come back out, and we have our picture extraordinaire Elaine, who will